I would say that I have to think of this from the player's perspective and from a business perspective.
Walk with us as we escort you to safety, experience, and the adventure of a lifetime.
It is now time for our Escort Quest, where we escort you to... we lead you to safety, XP, and the adventure of a lifetime, okay? So one of the questions that comes up, especially when it comes to MMORPG games, is the business model. I'll ask the question, what business model do you prefer? There was a MMORPG.com question about it. I mean, talk about it. There's the Guild Wars version, where you basically buy the game. You buy to play, no subscription. Period, okay? There are other games where you buy the game and you have a subscription. Like World of Warcraft, okay? There is buy the game, have a subscription, or free to play, SWTOR, ESO, okay? And there are games that just flat out free to play, okay? And a subscription or not, okay? So I thought I'd out there, like, what was the best choice out there? Because somehow, while all different models, no one company seems to do it the same way. And I know that when SWTOR went free to play, they crapped out stuff on that game, and it made people really, really mad, okay? Yet when you think about what ESO did, people say, oh, that was a pretty good free-to-play experience, okay? I can join if I want to or not, So, and Champions Online is a total free-to-play game. Yeah, you can subscribe to it, okay, but you also play free-to-play. There are other ones like that, too. I think even Star Trek Online is a free-to-play game. So, SirJahzeal, what is your preferred model when it comes to games?
I thought we weren't supposed to talk about politics. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
It could go there, but I'll stray from it. I would say that I have to think of this from the player's perspective and from a business perspective, and I'm able to do that because, as I've said before, I at one point was aiming for a business degree. Did get my bachelor's degree in business administration, but I, of course, went and ended up going to seminary after that. So the little bit that I can say for sure is that you need to pay your devs. And it takes money to make money, and all those other cliches are true. And you want to be able to afford to keep those servers open. You want to be able to afford to pay people to continue to be in that think tank room and thinking of new things, which end up in it being expansions and major patches in the game, content that keeps your players playing the game is very important. And that all takes a lot of money. So on the player side, would it be nice to have a game that you didn't pay for at all and you didn't have to pay anything at all ever? Yeah, on the player side, but on the other side, unfortunately, that just is not going to work for a long period of time. That's just going to result in a dead game, and we've seen it time and time and time and time again. What I can say is we can look at what these companies are making and kind of make a judgment call on what seems to work best, who maintains and keeps their audience, retains their audience, not maintain, retains their audience the longest, who is able to capture that childhood wonder enough to draw people back to the game when they do leave, and who is able to push out really, pretty cool expansions and major patches. And of course, we do come up with the big four with that number. Big five, some people would add a fifth one, which would probably include myself. And the problem with that is that you do see that all four, and actually all five of those games, if you add the fifth one, they're all different. They're every one of the things that Ken just said. You've got the game, just to reiterate, you've got the game that you purchase expansions and you pay a subscription every month. You've got one that you purchase the game for a very heavily discounted price, talking ESO here. Usually like $10 if you can catch it on sale. But you can pay for a subscription that gives you some really cool bonuses that you really don't want to miss out on. Or you can buy the DLCs individually as well as cosmetics. You've got Guild Wars 2 that you don't have to buy the core game, but you do have to pay for the expansions, and you do pay for little things like expanded bag space, expanded bank space, cosmetics, stuff like that, and so on and so forth. So, again, we could keep going with all the alterations of that. As far as what works best, I mean,
what you want?
Well, what I want?
Yeah, what is your favorite
way
to play the game?
As a player who's also business minded and wants the company to be successful and to continue for decades, I'm willing to. I would rather let's put that if it was up to me, I would rather either the game is free, but you do have to pay a monthly subscription. That's reasonable. And let's face it, $15 a month is not that much money, guys. That's like 2.5 Starbucks drinks. I mean, that's easily a run to McDonald's for one person these days. Taco Bell, you can buy a bit more, but then you get massive diarrhea afterwards. So I don't recommend that. It's not that much money. It's been $15 a month since 2004, guys. They haven't raised the cost of the subscription. So that says something. That's pretty awesome because most companies would.
That's right.
Netflix has raised their rates. Amazon Prime's raised their rates. Everyone else has raised their rates for subscription-based products. Yep. So I would rather either do that, or you pay for the game and you pay something reasonable depending on the size of the expansion, because sometimes it's a small expansion. We know that. And sometimes they're huge and they've got tons of content. I would rather do one or the other. I don't like the idea that I have to buy the game at full price, buy expansions at full game prices, $60 and up, and also pay $15 a month for a subscription. And I can say it doesn't necessarily turn me away, but it turns a lot of potential customers away, potential players, because they don't understand, why do I have to do both? And I completely understand that. So yeah. I admire that Elder Scrolls Online kind of gives you that ability to do that, where you purchase the game for super cheap. Like I said, it's usually like $10 for the core game. And you can pay for the monthly fee if you want, but you don't have to. And Guild Wars 2, again, the core game, you can play it for free. But if you want to buy stuff, then you can buy stuff through the shop, and none of it's pay to win, which I absolutely love. The expansions are usually super cheap. So, as far as nail it down, JahzealL, tell us what you want and move on to Solomon. It would be either have us pay for the game, pay for each expansion, or don't make us pay for the game, but we do have to pay a subscription. Not both. That's highway robber. Well, it's not, but
so I look at back thinking, like, I like to try a game first before buying it, just because that's why I do beta at times. I'm not really into the idea of helping them out. I don't mind helping them out with bugs and whatnot, but I want to see the gameplay, see if I like it or not, and then buy it. I'm willing to buy it once I like it. And then I'm thinking
Yeah.
like, I would much prefer a subscription from that point on. All DLCs, all expansions are based around my subscription to you. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're really going to tell me that's going to cost me much more to buy another expansion because it costs a lot of money, I get that. I'm thinking, but you're already doing all that work anyways, and you're getting all the money for a sub anyways. And like, I'll pay $10. I mean, I much prefer paying $10, a month for a sub than $15. Yes, I know, same price we've been paying for 15 plus years for World of Warcraft, and you think about the money you spent over the last couple, decade or so. You're like, wow, okay.
$6,000.
That's why I appreciate the games who do have free to play. Hey, try a game out, but then again, it's because they're established. A game that comes out is free to play. Let me try it and then buy it. But then again, there are a lot of people who have been free to play, try it, and then not buy it. And so you're like, where is that business guy? Like you said, I agree. I want to make sure the companies can succeed. It costs money to do this. It costs money to hold the servers, people to run the servers. It costs money for the devs and the artists and the coders and everything involved. So I understand supply demand. I don't mind. I appreciate that. And I will buy the game for that. If you wanted me to be my whole, I think it's the best way to do it. I would like to try it out, then buy it in a monthly sub. The free to play stuff with you can buy stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really big into the whole idea of pets or mounts or those kind of things, of the glamour stuff. And so that's why I don't bother with those kind of things. But I would like to be able to have opportunity to buy them if I wanted to. So why not? Let them have an opportunity to do that. Not loot crates type stuff, but something that allows them to actually do something.
Yeah.
All right. Solomon's back. It is time to go to you. What do you think about, what's your preferred model for games?
One sec. Sorry. Okay. Actually, I think there's one model that you left out, and that's free to play with a battle pass system.
Okay.
Oh, battle pass. Okay.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, there isn't a whole lot of games or MMOs specifically that does that. And even then, the games that claim to be MMOs that does that aren't really MMOs. And I'm talking about mobile platforms or, mobile games. I mean, I guess you could argue that Black Desert Online kind of does that, but it's more of a buy to play with a battle pass system. And even then, their battle pass system only exists within their season servers and not the actual regular content. I think Dauntless might do something like that. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't
Dauntless
played that
does,
game
yeah.
yet. Oh, does it? Yeah. And
Yeah.
so there's that system too. I think I mean, I wouldn't really call Fallout 76 an MMO, but I mean, you could fall into that category. Well, anyways, you get the idea. Man. Yeah, this is tough because as SirJahzeal said earlier, you kind of want to have a balanced approach, because you do want something that's very consumer friendly, but at the same time, you also want the devs to get paid so they can continue making the game that you actually love. So that being said, I have grown to really enjoy buy to play games, because there are going to be seasons where I just don't want to play the game anymore, but I probably will given enough time that has passed. And so it's always good to know that the game will be there for me to be able to play and not necessarily play catch up. Not in a traditional sense where in terms of the content, but with a battle pass system, it's if you miss out, you miss out. You can't get those items back, right? Whereas if it's buy to play or even pay to play, it's like the content is there for everybody regardless of whether you pay or not. Respectively to each of the games that use a particular either or of those payment options. So but in all fairness, and I think the way to go though, that I think the best way, the best business model is pay to play, in my opinion, because, well, let me put it to you this way. When a game is pay to play or any other type of payment options, there are certain expectations that you have when you think of those type of business models. And so when you think of a game that's only pay to play, you don't expect a game to have a battle pass system. You don't expect a game to have a cash shop typically. And whereas, if you think of a game that's free to play, then yeah, you typically think of a game that's going to have a very extensive cash shop, battle passes, an optional pay to play feature that gives you additional benefits. And then you get into the argument of whether or not that's all pay to win, but that's another story. So to keep everybody in the same boat while also giving the developers what do you call it? A constant stream of revenue that's more predictable than free to play games. I would argue. I think in all fairness, yeah, I think pay to win, wow, pay to play would be the best route to go. And the game that I'm thinking of, I believe that said that and that made a really good argument for why they're going pay to play would be Core Punk, which is the isometric cyberpunk sort of
That's
dark
right.
fantasy MMO that's coming out hopefully maybe this year or maybe next year, who knows. And yeah, they actually did a pretty good job at reasoning why they decided to go with that payment option rather than anything else. Now, whether or not they're going to continue that business model until the game's death is debatable. It's questionable because, as we saw in the early 2010s, a lot of these MMOs, that were initially pay to play ended up going free to play, with some variation of that. Star Wars: The Old
Yep.
Republic, The Elder Scrolls Online, and countless other ones. There were initially pay to play games, and they had to switch
Mhm.
to kind of change with the times, because the market kind of dictates that, and I don't blame them, because if they haven't have gone that route, then those games might have gone offline, and then nobody would have been able to enjoy the game. So me personally, I think the best option is pay to play, but I think realistically it's free to play. But me personally, I like a buy to play. So there's my answer
No, thank you.
to all those.
So Guild Wars 2 is a buy to play model ultimately, right? No sub, no free to play, so it's because it's just buy to play. There is a kind of a cash shop, I think, right? But
Yes.
no, right? But otherwise, that's
For
the best
cosmetics
model. Yeah,
and what do you call it? Quality of life items.
yeah. Which we almost saw. I mean, one point they were going to go out of business, or they were laying people off. So we were questioning whether Guild Wars 2 was going to survive. So it makes you wonder if they actually had a model that would go on. But that is the way it works. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Obviously, whether you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, whatever your opinions are, we'd like to hear it too. What's your favorite model? What is your favorite model of playing the game? And don't forget also what is your as the luster, not the luster, as the I don't know, the awe of childhood, the awe of a brand new game lost its luster. I don't know, but all right. So that's it for our Escort Quest. We hope you got there safely. I think you did. We didn't lose you. That's good. Anyways, so next up is our world events. We don't have anything coming up really directly. So Rick says he's not a fan of subscription models. Fair enough. So we have world events coming up. Our ESO expansion in June. We're still playing that. Still having New World in August. Okay, maybe a Diablo release. I'm not sure. So, but there's more coming. We'll let you know. You can join us on that. We'll let you have the part of that. So, yeah, if you haven't mentioned anything, if there's something you're missing from anything we're doing in the show, we always love to hear from you guys. Let us know, okay? And yeah, it's a good point. What would be a fair price for a monthly sub? Or a good point. All right, our quests are done. The dungeons are cleared, and the loot has been distributed, and all the crafting orders have been completed. It's now time to go AFK. Or if you're playing BDO, AFK fishing. All right, Solomon, where can we find you at?
You know.
You know. Traditional. We're doing that thing again. Ditto. You know.
Trademark.
Coffee and RPGs. I've been, I released a video for the
Twitch.
first time in almost a week, and I do apologize for that. But I just been swamped with work, with overtime, and not only that, I've been. There's a book that I purchased from Daryl Eves, and if you don't know who he is, he's I believe one of the executive producers for one of the biggest crowdfunded TV web series called The Chosen, which follows the life of Jesus Christ. But he's also a huge like YouTuber coach.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's actually the reason, I wouldn't say the reason why, but one of the reasons why Mr. Beast is so big. Mr. Beast actually went to him and was like, how do I grow my YouTube channel? And this was back when Mr. Beast only had like maybe 3 million, 4 million subscribers. And so because of I guess of Daryl's Eve's coaching, he was able to blow up because he started to look at analytics and what works and what doesn't work. Anyways, sorry, I'm going off track, but I purchased this book called the YouTube Formula, and I'm like about halfway through, and I'm already learning a lot. And so definitely expect some changes within my own channel, trying to utilize some of the benefits of going through my analytics and changing the way I do my thumbnails and stuff like that. And so yeah, that's one of the reasons why I haven't been making videos, because I've just been studying up on what to do and what not to do. So I do appreciate everybody's patience for that. But yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But yeah, that's it. Coffee and RPGs for now.
All right, SirJahzeal, who by the way is streaming again. Where can I find you at?
Yeah. So yeah, October 30th of 2020. That was my last stream, and I wasn't sure. It just seemed like every time that I was gonna come back, that something got in the way, and I took it to the Lord, because I was like, well, maybe this is just not the path that I'm gonna be on, and I'm gonna go do some other things. But it appears as of yesterday, I'm officially back doing my live streams on Twitch at SirJahzeal. You can catch me Friday through Monday at 2 to 6, well, roughly 6 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, love to see everyone there. Other than that, you can get a hold of me on Discord. I'm pretty much watching Discord like a hawk, 12 hours a day. So if you need to get a hold of me quickly, that's the best place to get a hold of me. However, you can message me through direct message or whatever, whisper, whatever they call it on Twitch.
Yep.
You can get a hold of me there as well. I'm still off of social media and loving it. It's been nice not seeing all the craziness in the world. And my faith in humanity's kind of killed a little bit since getting off of Twitter and Facebook, I gotta tell you.
Fair enough.
Yep. All right, you can find me at Kennethan here at my channel, okay? Also on Kennethan Live on Twitter, and also on Discord, got more activated. Place you can find me at too. And so thanks for everyone being here. We appreciate everybody who's stopped by and said hi or gave us a comment or whatever. Once again, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and put comments below, whether you're on Solomon's Coffee RPG's channel or mine. Love to hear from you all. And so thank you so much for being here. We'll be here again next week for another show, the Trinity MMO show. Check out the further adventures of Kennethan by liking and subscribing and watching me live on twitch.tv/Kennethan.